Before we're getting into our next conversation, actually, and it's a fixer, like we said in the previous hour, who sent us a WhatsApp Nation video, and he said, you know what, I am doing my part in fixing the nation. I am creating epilepsy awareness. And we said, sir, we need to hear more from you. What exactly are you doing? His name is Fredrick Beuchi. He is an epilepsy awareness campaigner and ambassador across the country and across the continent. Welcome to studio, Fredrick.
Asanteni sana.
It's so good to have you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for sending us your WhatsApp Nation video, for choosing to share what you're doing, your bit in fixing this nation.
Yep.
Before we get into anything, Jano will share a quote with you. Tuambie what it says to you.
Yes. The quote is by Amilcar Cabral, and he once said, "Those who forget the past sell the future."
Okay. Good. It's good when you are the last in the panel, because I've been listening to what
you're
others
pretending like that it's new to you. Sorry, what's the quote?
I love how I know that so.
Yeah.
There's a quote.
As if you haven't heard it 3 times.
I love how honesty
you
is.
come with a predetermined kind of explanation over it. But come to think of it, I think to me what it says is our past experiences inform and shape our future. So if you tend to forget, then it means you will have nothing to learn from that can help you make better and quality decisions. Yes, that's all I can say.
Walisema hivyo, aitwaje Shakespeare, Macbeth. The past is prologue.
Ish.
Past teaches us what the future holds.
Sisi ndio tumekataa ku. Well, we get it. It's true. Yeah. We're where we are because we continue to sell our future.
Very true.
I think why don't we begin with looking back at what you said in the WhatsApp Nation video, because that was like, okay, what exactly is he doing? Then you'll explain to us. Let's play the WhatsApp Nation video that you sent to us and we aired many weeks back.
Hello, Fixing the Nation. My name is Fredrick Beuchi from Kwale County. I am an epilepsy awareness ambassador. I fix the nation by raising awareness for epilepsy through extreme sports expeditions. Over 1.5 million people in Kenya live with a condition called epilepsy, a condition that has been shrouded around with a lot of myths and misconceptions, and a lot of people experience stigma. In 2018, I walked from Nairobi to Mombasa, covering 482 kilometers in 12 days. In 2020, I cycled from Nairobi to Arusha in 3 days and climbed Mount Kilimanjaro in 7 days. Last year, I conquered Mount Fuji Snow Mountain in Japan. All these initiatives have helped me to reach out to over 5 million people with information about epilepsy. I would like to shika the mic to share more about epilepsy awareness education and how we can stop stigma and how we can demystify myths and misconceptions around epilepsy. Thank you. This is where I literally...
That's so good. You know, every time he explained the things he's done, he started with the walk. I was like, okay, 412 days. Then you went to mountains.
Wait, the cycling still.
Cycling 3 days.
Arusha in 3 days on a bicycle.
Mount Kilimanjaro 7 days.
7 days.
Mount Fuji.
Mount Fuji.
Wow.
I know we'll get into the why. You know, you'll share a little bit about what got you into that. And maybe I'm jumping ahead, but as you're doing all of these challenges and these courses, what is it that's going through your mind? What is it that's driving you to say, I'm going to do this 7-day summit? It's called a summit. When you summit a mountain. Yeah.
You do.
Do you summit?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I was trying to catch myself. Because I know the motivation is I'm pushing for, against, stigma on epilepsy. But what is it that's informing? Every day you wake up, what is it that's going through your mind?
For me, it's the gap that we have in terms of information. And this time it could be information because of epilepsy, but of course, there's always a gap in between. I think every day even in such conversation, we are trying to bridge the gap of information and once people are informed about things, then they are able to really know what to do and what actions to take. So for me, the drive is, if I'm in a position where I'm able to bridge the gap of lack of information, then that is what keeps motivating me every day.
Okay. Amazing. Yeah. Now I know we'll take it back. Tulienda hivi.
No. Nataka tu kujua epilepsy awareness. 10 years now. When did you begin and why?
Wow. So it goes back to 2013. Apart from being an epilepsy awareness activist, I'm also a caregiver. I'm a caregiver of a sister living with epilepsy. And most recently, actually this year, when I got married in June, my wife also has epilepsy. So
congrats on your wedding and on your marriage.
Thank you so much.
I'm hoping married life has been kind so far.
Yes.
So far, so good.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Continue. Yeah.
So, but it dates back to when my sister was diagnosed with epilepsy when she was 2 years old. She's now 20 years. We just celebrated her birthday the other day. And when we started experiencing or seeing what our sister was experiencing in terms of twitches and going to seizures and convulsions, we really didn't understand what it was all about. I know epilepsy is a condition that, dates way back. My background is theology and counseling. I'm a reverend and I serve with the Methodist Church. So I have preached from a scripture that says Jesus at one time healed a person who had epilepsy. So even my understanding at some point about epilepsy was it's caused by demon possession or witchcraft and things like that. So when we began to see this in our sister, our thinking about what was causing all that was not far from what I'm saying right now. But over time, because now we were thinking, okay, we've taken her for prayers, we've done everything else, and this thing is not getting away. So what is it? And then in the journey of trying to find answers now, it's when I realized that this is a medical condition and it can be managed and it can be treated, with medication. So 2013 in Nairobi, actually while at home, one day I was just watching the TV and there was an interview, doctors talking about epilepsy, and they said they was going to have an epilepsy open day in Nairobi. So I came over and I lined up. Yes, I came over. It was at Uhuru Park. I lined up so many people and I was able to see one of the specialist doctor whom we still work with closely. I explained the case of my sister to her and he felt so sorry that I had come all the way and I was not able to come with my sister because at that time my sister was around 6 years old and she was getting seizures after every 20 minutes. So you can imagine someone getting an attack after every 20 minutes. And hers was what we call a type that is called generalized. She would getting generalized seizure. So she would get an attack, fall down, she would jerk, bite her tongue, and have some kind of foam coming out of it. It's so scary. And I couldn't even travel with her. But after talking to the doctor, he came down to Mombasa. We took her to the hospital. She was examined again. They realized what type of epilepsy she has, put under medication. She's now 20 years and she has been seizure-free for about 8 years now, running to 9 years.
Congratulations.
And that's where
amazing.
Now the urge of wanting to tell the story and bridge the gap of information about epilepsy started.
From a seizure every 20 minutes to seizure-free for 8 years.
8 years.
Well done.
That's huge. And it's maintained, you're on medication. You have to manage it for the rest of your life, I suppose. Is it medication that she takes
So
every
depending
day?
on the type, again, and what the doctor will actually be able to advise. There are people who take medication, for life. The people who will take medication up to the point where the doctor says, okay, now we see good progress and we start withdrawing. For like my sister, she has undergone a lot of changes in terms of the medication she has used. And I'm seeing the doctor reducing the medication. So we are basically on our way towards, withdrawing the medication. Yes.
I want to understand a little bit more about epilepsy itself.
Yes.
Just if you were to because you've talked about different types. I know the first thing that comes to me is what is it that triggers the seizures, and is it different for every person? If you can just give us an overview of epilepsy and then the different types, the triggers and the maintenance, so to speak.
Right. So I'll do that from a point of, I deal a lot with the social aspect of epilepsy, being an epilepsy counselor in that line. I will really avoid, I know the terminologies and the things that the doctors, because I've worked with them, but I will try, and if there's a doctor listening and there's a technical question, they would probably feel free to respond to it. But in brief, this is what I can say, that epilepsy is medical condition that is caused by basically damage of the brain or an injury of the brain. And of course, when your brain is injured or damaged, it can result to so many other things. One of the risks is epilepsy. In this case of my sister, she suffered from cerebral malaria. Now, cerebral malaria was able to be treated, but by the time she was treated, from cerebral malaria, it had already affected the brain, and that now put her at the risk of getting epilepsy. And there are over 40 types of epilepsy, but they are grouped in about 3 categories. So I've talked about generalized seizures, where someone gets an attack, they fall down and they jerk. Sometimes before falling, they have some kind of sound coming out of their mouth. They jerk and they have some foam coming out of. And then we have what we call a partial seizure. So you might not necessarily fall down, but partial seizure is you might see someone having a jerk of a hand and they cannot control it. For some seconds or for a minute, they're just jerking. Or someone just shaking their head in the middle of a conversation or something, and they're not able to control it. And then we have what we call now absence seizures. So absence seizures, these mostly are in children, and sometimes you are talking to a child and then they give you a blank stare, like for some seconds, and then they come back to their senses. So you could be asking them a question like, or sending them to go pick something, and by the time you say go and bring me a cup, they go blank and they come back with a spoon or a plate. And most of the time you begin to think, kwani nikikwambia maneno wewe usikii? You see, so those 3 categories now can spread out now to the 40 types, and they are triggered differently. You must have seen some of the programs on TV when they're about to start, or even movies. They say if you have photosensitive kind of epilepsy because of the flashing and everything. So we have people who have a photosensitive kind of epilepsy, where if they see like flashlights and they can trigger a seizure. In the case of my sister, her trigger is overexcitement. There is no way I can buy something new or good and go, surprise. She will get excited, and the next minute she will have an attack. And stress, and currently we are doing a study on climate change and epilepsy. So just trying to see how does the change of climate from one area to the other. And I experienced this with my sister also, coming from Mombasa, where it's very hot. Every time I come with her in Nairobi, she gets to experience some changes, and you can see clearly that she's getting some attacks or seizures here and there, just because of the change of environment. So there's a long list of triggers around epilepsy.
From an awareness point, what's the level of diagnosis, if you know, in Kenya? How many people are undiagnosed? And like you said, a lot of people will explain it away as, ni mapepo, ni this, ni that. And then they never get treatment.
Okay. Well, what has been documented in terms of, the statistics, we talk about over 1.5 million people living with epilepsy, one or the other type of epilepsy. But this prevalence also when you go down to specific regions or counties, like I come from Kwale County, but we have a program that we are doing in Malindi, Kilifi County. And for the longest time, actually the biggest study about epilepsy has been done in Kilifi, because in terms of prevalence for epilepsy, Kilifi County has been seen to really have the numbers. And of course, this is caused by so many other factors, including what I have just mentioned, cerebral malaria. We have a campaign where we sensitize like the border guys to always make sure that they have helmets, and even, you know, the passengers that they are carrying, because now every time an accident happens, then it puts someone at risk of getting a head injury, and you don't know how far that head injury can go to touching your brain. You've heard also about the same area having, you know, teenage pregnancies, early pregnancies. So birth complication also can put, you know, that child at risk of, you know, getting a brain damage, and hence then epilepsy.
This is now the child being born, if there are complications during childbirth.
Yes. So when you think about, you know, the young girls or children again getting, you know, children, you want to believe that they are not able to even tell at what point they're supposed to go for their antenatal care. So they don't follow that process until they are due, only to realize that when they are in hospital, there are a lot of complications that happen, and they put not themselves at risk of even losing life, but also the child by the time, you know, they're giving birth.
Right. Even from a developmental perspective, they may not be.
Yeah, that's true. It just sounds so prevalent. Even globally, what are the numbers, whether it's nationally or globally? It's one in how many? 100 or less or more?
Actually, we talk of 4 in 100.
Okay.
Because currently we talk about 70 million around the world.
Okay.
And that's why over the years we've been having a campaign called 50 million steps. So just people being encouraged to, you know, when it's around that time when we are celebrating International Epilepsy Day, take activities, walk, count your steps.
The 50
to
get to 50 million.
Like,
Then why does it seem to remain absent in health agendas? National health agenda, global health agenda. Do you get the same sense? It remains.
We do actually. That question. I was looking at an article. I think it was on the Daily Nation, and there was a back and forth with the senators and the new CS of health, because they were terming epilepsy and other disabilities as invisible disabilities. And these days we cannot get over the SHA thing. So the CS was saying that there is this set of what they call invisible disabilities that are not being covered. And the senators were like, okay, how? Just tell us. Because if my sister walks in here, if it's not for the injuries where she has gotten attacks and she's gotten hurt, you wouldn't be able to tell if she's really having, you know, epilepsy. And that also has been a conversation, because epilepsy, apart from it being a disability, it is also under the category of non-communicable diseases. Okay, so from that view in itself, getting registered to get like a disability card was an issue, because you are being told to prove that you have a disability. You see, and when someone walks in, they seem to be normal until something triggers them, and you realize it's not normal as it seemed.
A diagnosis would not have been sufficient?
So this is what they do. There is a test that is being done. It's called EEG. Okay, but it's not a measure of really being able to tell that someone has epilepsy. Just the other day, I took my wife to the hospital, and they did an EEG because she had started to experience some twitches and she's not able to walk properly, and we thought maybe we should check because she's in most of her times very stable. And they did an EEG and it came out normal, and the doctor was like, it's normal. So if you're asked to show approve, like you have an amputee and someone else is maybe blind, that can really be seen. For this person who has epilepsy, it really becomes very difficult. And I think that's why it's being termed as invisible disabilities, and so unless you prove beyond, you know, reasonable doubt.
But that should be the job of a medic, right? Because even in all forms of disabilities, for you to be qualified as a person with disability, has to be a medical professional who has examined and found, because there are very many forms of disabilities. Neurodivergent disabilities are not directly visible, but a doctor would be able to say, and this is after a history, that I've been treating this patient and I can here certify that they fall within this category of disabilities. So I'm seeing here like there's a gap in information and knowledge from first the community into the professionals, and then going to the council. Because the council of the, what's it called? The National Council for Persons with Disabilities. By the time they're giving you the certificate, they want the medic. Now, if a doctor doesn't know that I will have to base it on history and all, and then this is how I'll sign, then there are specific doctors who know creates a gap. Is that not so?
And I will tell you how we've perhaps been able to address that, because of course over time, as we continue to share information, things change. There is a committee called the National Epilepsy Coordination Committee, which has not been established under an act of parliament, but it's just neurologists, people who have interest in epilepsy, who came up with, that committee. And the objective was really to try and mainstream and just being able to show what goes into diagnosing this kind of condition. In the past, you would go to the hospital and the doctor would see all these signs. You're getting seizures and all these, but it will not be diagnosed as having epilepsy. It would be either convulsions or seizures. It would not have a name. Until this committee came into place and they were able now to come up with a national epilepsy guideline that is able now to tell when you go and a diagnosis is done, then when we arrive to this conclusion, then we can write. Actually, it's from that point when we now started to have the numbers, because now you'll go to the hospital, you'll get the registry, and you'd say, in this month, we have had this number of people who have come to the hospital and they have epilepsy. So I think that has been the gap as well when it comes to
research as well. Sorry, Mariam.
Oh no, I was going to ask, does SHA cover these invisible disabilities?
You see, now that's the conversation. I was just making reference to that article.
That's where Duale and the senators were going back and forth.
Going back and forth in terms of what is invisible and what can be seen.
I think Duale was the wrong person to be having that conversation, because he's not a medic. It would have been good if a doctor had come in, Massimo Ngangi or the chair, Abdi Mohammed, would be the ones answering this, because then from a doctor's point of view, they'd be answering. But at policy level, it's okay. He still has to answer. What answer did he give? What's the answer?
Well, from that article, it was like they need to really break it down and show evidence and show but it's not a surprise, because I think it was from this same show when I heard that someone had gone to the hospital and they had been diagnosed with cancer, but they were told to go
to the tumor.
A tumor until it gets to a certain level
size,
before they can be attended to. So it's a whole thing of really not knowing. But it's not only also on SHA. The other day we were paying for an insurance for my wife because the medicine that they are using is very
pricey.
Expensive. And by the time we are going to, pay, normally, I mean, for the services that we wanted, the insurance company gets back to us and say, because you have outlined that there is this condition, then you have to pay an extra fee.
Yep.
Yeah. Just before you continue, we have a caller, Boniface from Kisumu, right? Okay, Boniface from Kisumu, good morning. Do you have a question or contribution today?
Yes, I'm Boniface from Kisumu.
Okay.
Yes, I'm actually epileptic. I've gotten the conversation going on. I didn't get it from the beginning. So I don't know whether it's a doctor or it's just another thing.
He's an ambassador, just a champion for epilepsy awareness. Yeah.
Okay.
So he's not a doctor.
I wanted to know where maybe I can get some assistance if there is need.
Okay.
The connection.
What kind of assistance?
Talking of disability, where I can register the disability. I think there's any assistance I can get from there.
Okay.
I think that
I think that's not a very medical question. So I think the registration for getting the disability certificate has been made easy now because it's all now online. So they just need to log in to the website of National Council for Persons with Disability and they register there. But by the time they get to register, they need to have their medical forms. They have been signed and they have been, duly filled and they just upload there. It takes about 2 weeks because I've assisted a lot of people who have wanted to get the disability certificate because they have epilepsy.
2 weeks from a point of lodging,
yes,
online to receiving the certificate.
Yes.
How long does it take to get the medical records and all?
That one you need to go to either a sub-county hospital, where there is someone who can do the assessment from that point.
Right.
So sometimes, unfortunately, that's where you get a lot of people being taken back and forth, go and bring this kind of report, this kind of report. But the moment you get the paperwork done, it's very easy to just go online, upload, put all the details that they're supposed to be done, and then in 2 weeks' time, unless those documents have an issue, you should be able to get your certificate.
Okay. I'm happy to hear that at least that part of the process is seamless. Maybe if there was capacity to expand and have someone able to do an assessment beyond sub-county, even at a lower level, because how many sub-county hospitals are there? How close are they to people? Mashinani. But I want to go back, Kidogo, to the cost of epilepsy. You spoke of getting insurance for your wife recently and having to pay an extra on top of the premium because this is a pre-existing condition. It's what insurers will do all the time. But talk to me about the cost of treatment, what it looks like for people without insurance, what it looks like if all I have is my SHA, or even if I haven't registered for SHA. What is the cost of treatment?
Wow, I think that's where now the burden is for so many people. And it might not really be even for the patients alone, but also for the family. I'll give an example of my own family. Before we started getting support, out of the activities that I've been doing, eventually you go, you do these expeditions, and then you get people who are ready to support, send you medication. We were spending around about 20 to 30,000 every month just for medication. Just for medication. So, and I get people calling and asking, for support and help because of the kind of medicine that they are using until today. So, the cost
20
is
to 30,000.
Yes,
a month.
A month. Yes,
because beyond reach for
there will be some
98% of Kenyans.
Exactly. There will be some medication where, because I remember my sister was taking another type of medicine, and a tablet was going for like 100 plus. and she's taking
daily.
like 2 or 4 tablets a day. So you can imagine that must be a very heavy burden to so many people.
Right.
Yes.
I know in research there's some work being done by the Kenya Medical Research Institute called the Camry Wellcome Trust Research Program.
Yes.
So at the Kilifi County Hospital, they have a clinic there called the Epilepsy and Neurodevelopment Clinic. And what they're doing there is just trying to understand what is it that, you know, the wiring and all that
And
triggers the onset of epilepsy and even the episodes. And from there, the doctors and the researchers were saying the reason why, first of all, they're in Kilifi is because there's a significantly high prevalence rate of epilepsy in Kilifi.
Which you just mentioned.
Which you talked about, right?
Yeah.
And they also look at what are the reasons. And in fact, some of the reasons that we're saying is, malaria is...
Cerebral malaria.
There's serious high cases of malaria in Kilifi, meningitis, encephalitis rather, birth complications, perinatal injuries, and so on and so forth. All these are contributing to that. And then there's serious treatment gap. They're trying to bridge that gap by saying, you come and you'll be getting the treatment from here and so on and so forth. This is just one research unit that's trying to just deal with this in the community.
Yeah.
As far as you know, has there been any government program at public facilities that says we have, for example, this kind of unit, a neurodevelopmental unit in hospitals that also has epilepsy and other neurodevelopment issues? Any?
Not really. Not really. And I say this with a lot of confidence because I've been in the space for the last 10 years and I started getting involved with the National Epilepsy Coordination Committee from around 2015, 2016 there. Yeah. And what they were really trying to do is exactly what you are asking, like lobby and push and ask the government to have these centers. What is there in most of the public hospitals is you'd have like mental health centers. And this is where we also needed to draw the line because a lot of people suffering from epilepsy were being seen in the mental health clinic. And that was even more stigmatizing because they are being branded as people who are having mental issues.
Right.
You see? So we needed to really draw the line so that we are able now to say we can have an epilepsy clinic that really looks into treating and helping people with,
Sorry. We just need you to hold your thought for 1 second.
Okay.
There's a caller on the line, Juliet from Siaya. Right. I think she has a question or a comment. Good morning, Juliet.
Good morning.
What's your question or comment for Fredrick?
Actually, I've been listening to the guy. I'm a victim.
Yeah.
I have been having seizures for a long time. I even had one yesterday.
Pole sana.
So the best I've been done to that is an EEG test.
Yeah.
Yenye ilionyesha kwamba I'm just okay. No epilepsy. I'm told that I have mental issues or normal seizures or convulsions, so I don't understand.
All right.
And I'm just wondering where I can be helped because the medication of epilepsy are very expensive.
Yes.
And I'm taking them and I'm told that I don't have epilepsy.
Okay. All right.
So sometimes I don't know if there is somewhere that I can go to get help.
All right, Juliet.
Thank you.
We'll listen into, Fredrick can help maybe refer, but I just wanted to get to know the facility that you went to, because Fredrick had already said that the EEG is notorious for not being able to show epilepsy, even in the case of his sister. The facility you went to, is it a sub-county hospital? Do you know what level it is? Level 4, 5, 6? Juliet?
I don't know the level of the hospital, but it's called Life Care.
Okay.
In Bungoma.
In Bungoma. It's a private facility?
It's a private facility. Actually, the EEG was done some 3 weeks ago.
Okay. Sawa.
And I was told I'm okay.
Okay. So then I think Fredrick can help, maybe advise you on what next to do. But at least the caveat we know is that the EEG is notorious for not being able to tell whether someone has epilepsy. But Fredrick, what would you advise Juliet?
Sure. On that case of Juliet, I can also say that as much as in we are able sometimes to, doctors are able to tell like what has caused epilepsy, we also have so many other types that we can say, doctors say that you can't really tell what has caused, that type of epilepsy. So it could be the case with Janet, Juliet. Yeah. It could be the case with Juliet. Yeah. But again, what I want people to understand also is not all seizures or convulsions can translate to one having epilepsy. Okay, not all, because there are so many other conditions that can prone people to having seizures or convulsions and the like. So it's unfortunate that she has taken those steps in trying to find out exactly what is happening. And it's a question that so many other people also have. Yeah, because I think the worst is when you have been put on certain kind of medication, in this case, epilepsy medication, yet you don't have. It's not for that. It's not for.
So you're not improving.
Exactly.
Is Juliet still on the line? Okay, no, she's not there. But I think we'll be able to connect back with her, just so that perhaps we can go to the closest sub-county hospital or a level 5, level 6, and figure out, maybe get a proper assessment, because she did say, yes, she is on medication. It's not working. So then that might be a case of misdiagnosis, or just it's not diagnosed at all. It's just taking medication for the wrong thing. So Juliet, if you're still listening, we'll put you in touch with Fredrick if you don't mind, just so you can help advise her.
I hope you have a lot of help. You're now part of a community. You have a network.
I have a network of, the people who can easily help when it comes to epilepsy, treatment and management. Of course, doctors can, clinical officers, but we have neurologists, we have epileptologists. Now, that's where we again say, because the epileptologist personally, having been in this field for like 10 years, I only know of 2 in the country. Wow. I know of several other neurologists who can actually help. And perhaps if they're listening, especially one of the epileptologists whom we work with closely in Malindi, I'm very sure he's listening. So if he has an answer to what Juliet is asking, maybe they can call
Maybe you'll mention the name of your website or something soon.
Sure.
Very quickly, I want to look at what Salinjanga is saying. As a person with epilepsy, the medication is also not readily available. And in public hospitals, the drugs are not available. So there's also the element of access to medication, availability of the drugs.
Right. Before we even get to the expense.
Is the availability. Is that something that you also come across a lot? How do most people then access?
Yeah. So there's what the government has passed as, medicine that is available and is cheap and can be used to, treat or manage. So when you go to the hospital, you are likely then to get this medication. But now, the types of epilepsy also, some come in when they're very, some of these types are very challenging or very sophisticated, and they really need some other medicine that is not very
We
much
need
available.
2 hours with Fredrick, and it's the last hour on Friday. And now we have another caller, right? Which is great, because I think they're gleaning a lot from the conversation.
Exactly.
He's from Nyahururu.
Okay.
Paul. Paul, good morning. Do you have a question or comment?
Yeah, I do. As I've told you, I'm Paul from Nyahururu. And I've been having this problem for like 10 years now. And the problem developed can't even tell from nowhere, but it took time even before I could even expose it to the family or members, because I couldn't even understand. So I couldn't find myself, maybe I've fallen down. After that, I become very forgetful. I could even leave, maybe I've fallen down even with something I was carrying. After getting up, I leave those things there and just go on the truth. Yes, and from that time I became very forgetful, that even I have to record almost everything somewhere, because after some time I'll have forgotten.
Yeah.
But after being trained even for quite some time, it was found that it could be the potential. But at our level 5 hospital, when you go there, they direct you to just a building almost next to the gate that there has been written mental challenges unit. So, and people are lying outside. So I find myself even going to seek assistance there is a problem because of that stigmatization that our brother have talked about. So I even prefer going to all the way to Olkalau services there. They can use hospital, where at least you get to a unit which is inside and just written that it's psychiatrist. And I get assisted there. I've been doing drugs all through. And whenever maybe I have to take the drugs every evening and even in the morning. And if I forget one day, I'm very sure that the problem will get to. Will start to be in a very short period of time. And this problem has been quite high, and even the drugs very expensive.
Yeah.
So the government
needs to intervene.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Paul. Just for context, how far is Olkalau from Nyahururu? Olkalau.
Oh, Olkalau, you see now we are in Nyahururu, in like the county, whereas Olkalau is in Nyandarua County.
It's headquarters.
You're crossing counties. Thank you so much for sharing, Paul.
I'm crossing the county.
Thank you, Paul. I think it's just such an injustice that it's so prevalent, and it's Fredrick talking that's giving people that hope that I feel seen and heard.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be the only case. It should be something that's accessible across the board.
But something that is coming up from, even the calls, when you talk about the treatment for epilepsy.
Yes.
I would like people to also understand there's the medicine part, but what I have learned is the treatment is a journey, and it needs very consulted efforts. I'm here as an epilepsy counselor, and from the cases that I've worked closely with a doctor, some of them would come to me as just talk to them because they feel so burdened to continue taking these medication. There are people who are not aware of their triggers, and then you realize when you talk through them, their triggers, they are able to, get back to their normal life. So there's a lot of support that is needed from the family, the people that you are staying with, to walk with you that journey of, getting the treatment.
And staying on the journey.
And staying on the journey, because it's, you just recently won an Epilepsy Climate Change Award.
Yes.
You didn't say that's why you're in Lisbon. You're that guy. Lisbon. Yes. The reason I'm asking is, how do you measure impact then? And is for you impact information? Is it access to medication? How do you measure impact around your advocacy?
I think for me first it was, getting this information to as many people as I could. And you see from what I am doing when I talk about extreme sports expeditions, it's the same idea of trying to do something that can attract attention.
Something with pizzazz.
Exactly.
Extraordinary.
Yeah.
Newsworthy.
Exactly. Like what I did in 2020. When I thought about going to Mount Kilimanjaro, I was like, I will not be the first one to climb. However, at some point I came to know that from my village, I am the second person to climb.
Oh, that's good.
And it felt
Your
so
village is doing well. There was another one person.
Yeah, other villages. I know where
Zero.
Wow. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I'm not the first one, but then how do I do this in a way that is going to attract attention? I was like, I'm not going to take a flight there and land at Mount Kilimanjaro Airport and then go climb, but I was going to cycle.
Oh, you were cycling actually.
Yeah. Cycle. So that was 3 days, 100 kilometers every day from Nairobi all the way to Arusha. Rested for 2 days and then went climbing Mount Kilimanjaro for 7 days. So that in itself already had created buzz around us.
Is that the hardest one you've done from all the challenges you've? I don't know what to call them.
No, I would say the walk in 2018.
Okay.
Nairobi, Mombasa.
Yeah, that was. I wasn't
Grueling.
prepared. Actually, I told my friends I'm doing a walk, and they were like, epilepsy has everything to do with the brain, and we're beginning to think that your brain
like we love the butts.
yes because the best they could do was to just flag me off, and they were like, all the best.
Okay.
And it was tough. After that, I had to go to the hospital for like 2 weeks. I had blisters, so they had to do things like putting my legs in ice. The skin dries, they peel it off until, And again, Mount Fuji. Mount Fuji is not as big as Mount Kilimanjaro. The only challenge is it's a snow mountain, and then it's also angle of elevation is very steep. It's a perfectly coned shape.
So it's not a gradual elevation.
And the snow is from the base to the summit.
Exactly. Yeah.
But were you always because you answered my next question, which was just why the extreme sports. But I want to know if it spoke to something that you're already passionate about. Were you always athletic or interested in extreme sports? And then this just became the perfect now driver of epilepsy awareness? Or is it something you decided to do solely because of
I think
awareness?
For me it came up as an idea when I started getting involved with National Epilepsy Coordination Committee. I saw doctors who really wanted the word about epilepsy to go out there. But every time they are seated, they are thinking about, diagnosis, treatment, and then they are not finding a way into how are we going to really get people to talk about epilepsy, and the information gap was there. So I was like, I've listened to you guys, so let me try and do something crazy and see if it's going to. And that is what really brought in the epilepsy to the limelight at that point.
We need to do a clinic. I mean, I think it affects so many people. I even wanted to get into the symptoms. How do you know when?
Exactly.
There's a lot of information.
We'll do that. We'll have you and maybe even have the guys from Cambry. To come on.
To do a clinic. But thank you so much. Before we officially tell you goodbye, World Sexual Health Day is today. Is it the 5th of September?
Yes.
Okay.
Today is the 6th.
Today is the 5th.
It's the 5th.
The 5th, okay. Providing support to pregnant and parenting adolescents in Kenya. That is today's topic. There's somebody for policy and advocacy and research scientists, and they'll be able to shed some light on that. That's with Mwikali and Winnie. And then we'll have Claudia and Brian on Nation FM. So you've got your Fridays sorted after this. Thank you so much, Fredrick, for everything you do, for standing in the gap so bravely and wonderfully. We appreciate you.
A true fixer.
I appreciate so much. So any further questions, maybe people can follow me at Fredrick Beuchi in all my social media platforms.
How do you spell Fredrick?
Wow. Fredrick is F-R-E-D-R-I-C-K.
Okay.
And then Beuchi?
And Beuchi. Beuchi is Beuchi. And for further information also, you said I could mention the website.
Yes.
Foundation for People with Epilepsy. International Epilepsy Day is always the second Monday of February. So that's until next year. But we have November as the Epilepsy Awareness Month. And we will be having a lot of activities around that month as well.
Oh, and you're featuring on Earthwise Mtani with you, Jackso, right?
Yes.
With our
fantastic.
The director is talking to us. Is also a host. Is a man of many hats and talents. But yes, he's also featuring on that. The website, sorry, was?
Foundation for, the organization is Foundation for People with Epilepsy. So if you Google Foundation for People with Epilepsy, should be able to
Foundation for People with Epilepsy.
With Epilepsy.
Thank you.
Yes.
I hope you've heard that. Thank you very much. We're going to do
You're a real fixer.
You're a real fixer.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for staying with Fixing the Nation. From Mariam Bishar, Eric Latif, and me, Janet Bogwa. We'll see you again on Monday. Have a good weekend.